Have you ever looked at really wealthy people and wondered what separates them from everyone else? Well, a lot of the time, it's not about what they do, it's about what they don't do. Today, we're going to break down the 7 hidden traps that can totally sabotage your path to building serious wealth.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. If you boil everything down to one core idea, it's this: being willing to make the sacrifices that other people just aren't. It's about choosing the hard path, the one that forces you to grow, instead of the easy one that leads to, well, nowhere. And it all starts with the choices you make about your money and your career.
And that brings us right to our first set of traps. I call these the external ones. They're all about how you deal with money and the image you're trying to show the world. And believe me, if you get these wrong, you could be out of the game before you even really start.
Okay, so the first big mistake is getting blinded by a high salary right at the beginning of your career. Look, I get it. It feels like a huge win. But chasing the biggest paycheck can actually limit you in the long run. It can lock you into a job that looks good now, but has absolutely no room to grow.
So, this is the crucial choice right here. You've got Path A, which offers that nice high salary, but as you can see, it hits a ceiling pretty fast. But then there's Path B. This path is all about 2 things: developing high-income skills, and, this is the big one, owning equity in a business. Yeah, it might mean less cash in your pocket at first, but this is the path to real growth, because you're not just earning a paycheck, you're owning a piece of the value you're helping create. The second external trap is all about trying to look wealthy before you actually are wealthy. I mean, we see it all over social media, right? The fancy cars, the expensive trips, but a lot of the time it's just a house of cards built on debt, all to buy things that lose value the second you get them.
And this slide just lays out the difference in mindset perfectly. The average person spends their money on depreciating items to impress other people. But the future multimillionaire, they're buying appreciating assets, things like stocks, real estate, a piece of a business that actually grow in value over time. The key is to first invest in things that make you money, and then you let that money buy you all the cool stuff you want.
All right, let's move on to the next set of traps, the operational ones. These aren't about your money directly. Instead, they're about how you work, how you build your team, and how you filter all the noise to make smart decisions.
Here's a hard truth for you. No matter how smart or talented you are, you will never outperform a group of talented people working together. That whole lone wolf genius thing, it's a myth. Building wealth is a team sport.
Just think about it. Every huge success story involves an incredible team. I mean, look at the PayPal mafia. That one group of people went on to create world-changing companies like YouTube, LinkedIn, and even SpaceX. The goal isn't to be the solo hero, it's to build or join a team of them.
Now, this next trap is super subtle, but it's an absolute killer. We live in an age of endless information, right? And listening to too many different opinions from podcasts, the news, a million different gurus, it just leads to cognitive overload. Your brain gets completely overwhelmed, and you end up frozen, unable to make a decision. You take no action at all.
So, how do you break out of that paralysis? It's actually pretty simple. First, you define your destination. What is your exact goal? Second, work backward from that goal to map out the steps you need to take. And third, and this is so important, seek out quality advice from 1 or 2 experts who have actually done what you want to do. Don't listen to the general opinions from the crowd.
Okay, now for the hardest traps to overcome. These aren't external, and they aren't about your operations. These are internal. They live inside your own head. We're talking about your mindset and your ego.
Arrogance is a silent wealth killer. You know why? Because it tricks you into thinking you already have all the answers. A person driven by ego is blind to new ideas. They're deaf to important feedback, and they're completely unable to learn from their own mistakes.
And this iceberg idea just illustrates the truth about success so perfectly. Arrogance might be that little tip that everyone sees above the water, but what they don't see is the massive foundation of humility and constant learning that's hidden underneath. True wealth requires you to be humble enough to admit you don't know everything.
This next trap really just boils down to a fundamental choice that you have to make every single day. When things go wrong, and they will, do you start making excuses or do you take ownership?
This slide shows the 2 tools you can grab. You can either pick up the magnifying glass, which you use to focus on everyone else. The system's rigged, my boss is unfair, the economy's bad. That's the blame game. Or you can look in the mirror and focus on the one and only thing you can actually control, your own actions and your own response.
All right, let's get to the final trap. And this one might just be the most seductive of all, because man, does it feel safe.
Your comfort zone is basically a prison that you build for yourself. It's that place where everything is safe and familiar and secure. The problem? Nothing ever grows there. If you stay static, you miss out on literally every single opportunity that's waiting just outside those walls.
The only way to grow your wealth, your skills, or even yourself as a person is to constantly push the boundaries of that circle. You have to take calculated risks and intentionally step into unfamiliar territory. Maybe that's starting a side business, learning a new skill, or doing something that scares you, like public speaking. That space for growth out there is infinite, but you have to be the one to go claim it.
So after going through all 7 of these traps, from the external pressures to the internal battles, what's the one big idea that ties this all together?
This ancient proverb just nails it. The man who blames no one has already arrived. Avoiding the traps of ego, of blame, of staying comfortable, it all comes down to this one incredibly powerful idea: taking total, radical, personal responsibility for your life and for your results.
And that really brings us to the final question. After seeing these 7 traps laid out, which path are you on? Are you on the path of short-term comfort that eventually just leads to a dead end? Or are you on the path of sacrifice and growth that leads to real, lasting wealth? The choice, in the end, is yours.